Something big is changing in how clients find AEC firms. They're not just searching Google anymore, they're asking AI. Questions like, who are the best healthcare architects in Denver? And here's the crazy part. ChatGPT doesn't just show a list of 100 firms, it only recommends a handful, which means the firms that show up in those answers are the ones who are getting the first call. And everyone else? They never even entered the conversation. And if your firm isn't one of them, you're invisible. Now you might be thinking you're already too late to join the AI race, but the truth is the opportunities are massive and we're just getting started. So in this video, I'll show you how clients are already using AI to find firms, what these systems are actually looking for, and the simple visibility moves you can make to turn AI into a new lead source. And once you understand how this works, it almost feels like cheating. The strange part is, most firms who are trying to optimize for AI are focusing on the wrong things. And the firms that actually show up in the AI answers are doing something completely different. Now, I should know. My name is Josh Miles, and helping AEC firms with marketing and branding is all I do. I'm the founder of Bold Brand, I'm a podcast host, TEDx presenter, and I wrote the book on AEC brand strategy. The big shift is from search to AI answers. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what just changed. Now, for the last 20 years, finding an AEC firm pretty much worked the same way. A client already had a few firms they trusted, but they needed to find a few more to consider. So they'd go to Google and type something like healthcare architects in Denver, and Google returned a list of links, 10 firms on the first page, 10 on the next, and the client clicked around and visited a few websites and eventually added a couple more firms to their list. But AI tools like ChatGPT work completely differently. Instead of giving you links to explore, they give you answers. And sticking with our example, when someone asks, who are the best healthcare architects in Denver? ChatGPT doesn't just show a page of links, it only recommends the best, which means visibility has changed. So in the AI era, visibility doesn't mean ranking on page 1, it means being part of the answer. And here's the important part. AI isn't picking these firms at random. These systems are looking for very specific signals across the internet. But once you understand what those signals are, you can begin influencing them. So how are clients actually using AI tools like ChatGPT today? Well, it usually starts the same way research always has. Someone's planning a project. They're trying to build a short list of firms to talk to. Now, in the past, that meant Google searches and asking colleagues, and now they're starting to ask AI. Questions like, who are the top civil engineering firms for municipal infrastructure projects? Architects experienced with higher education campus planning, or firms that design airport terminals. These are exactly the kinds of questions owners used to type into Google, and now they're starting the process with AI. It gives them a shorter list of recommendations before they ever start to write that RFQ. And those recommendations become the starting point for their research, which means if your firm never shows up in those answers, you're not even entering the conversation. So that raises the obvious question, how does AI decide which firms to recommend? Because it's not random, and it's not just pulling names out of a directory. What AI systems like ChatGPT are really doing is analyzing huge amounts of information from across the internet and trying to figure out which firms are most associated with a specific type of work. In other words, AI doesn't recommend firms because they have the best website. And the good news is there are a few very specific signals that influence that recognition. It recommends the firms the internet already recognizes as experts. That's the big shift. AI isn't searching the web the way people do. It's synthesizing what the web already says about you, which means the signals that matter aren't just on your website. They're spread across the entire internet. Things like what your firm clearly specializes in, where your firm is mentioned online, the projects you're known for, the knowledge you share about your work. And when those signals are strong and consistent, AI starts to recognize your firm as an authority in that space. And when someone starts to ask a question about that type of project, look who's part of the answer now. So if AI is recommending the firms the internet already recognizes as experts, the real question becomes, how do you strengthen those signals? The good news is you don't need to become an AI expert. There are 4 visibility moves you can make to strengthen those signals. The first move is about being known for something specific. AI is very good at recognizing specialists and kind of terrible at understanding generalists. Just like humans. So if your website says you design everything for everyone, it's hard for AI to know when your firm should be recommended. But when your firm clearly talks about things like healthcare architecture, municipal infrastructure, higher education, campus planning, those signals can become much clearer. The more specific your expertise appears online, the easier it is for AI to connect your firm to the right questions. The second move is sharing useful insights. AI systems strongly favor content that actually helps people understand a problem, not marketing announcements or promotions, but real insights. For example, 3 mistakes owners make when planning a hospital expansion, or what we learned designing 5 civic buildings in the last decade, or the budgeting mistake that we see in most municipal projects. When your firm consistently shares useful knowledge like this, the internet starts to associate you with that expertise. The third move is getting attention outside of your own website. Now, sure, AI looks at your website, but it also looks at where your firm is mentioned across the internet. Industry publications, podcasts, conference presentations, directories, these mentions act like credibility signals. The more your firm shows up in relevant places, the more AI systems recognize you as an authority. The fourth move is about making your expertise easy to understand. Your website and content should make it very obvious. The projects you specialize in, the industries you serve, and the problems that you solve best. Project portfolios, case studies, and news articles that go deep on topics like these make it much easier for AI systems to understand what your firm does. And when AI understands your expertise, it can recommend you more confidently. Now, here's the interesting part. When your firm consistently sends those signals across the internet, something strange starts to happen. Someone asks AI a question about the kind of work you do, and your firm starts showing up in the answer. Not because you ran ads, not because you chased an RFP, but because the internet already recognizes you as an expert in that space. And when that starts happening, it honestly feels a little like cheating. But the firms who will really benefit from this shift won't be the ones trying to game AI. They'll be the firms trying to make it very clear what they're known for. Share useful insights, show up consistently all across the industry. Because in the AI era, visibility doesn't mean ranking on page 1, it means being part of the answer. And the firms that figure that out early are going to have a huge advantage in the next decade of AEC marketing. Even if you are making progress on these visibility signals, your website plays a massive role on whether AI recommends your firm. So in this video, I'll show you the biggest AEC website mistakes that might be holding you back. Watch this one next. And if you'd like a free checklist of all of the AEC website design mistakes, hit that link below and we'll send it directly to your inbox. See you next time.